Hi guys, welcome to the Nat 4 lesson, and this lesson is going to introduce decimals. Okay, so if we start off with a cube like this here, or a square, I'm going to call this 1 whole, and that's going to represent 1 unit. If I'm going to now split that whole into 10 equal parts, so it looks like this here. If I shaded in one of these, there's 10 of them in total. That shaded part would be 1 out of 10, and this is going to represent tenths. If I split it up some more into 100 equal parts, and I shade in one little square, this is going to represent 1 out of 100, or hundredths. Okay? So if we look at place value, the value of where a digit is in a number. You know this is hundreds, you know this is tens. This box here is representing your units. This box here is representing your tenths. And this box here is representing your hundredths. So when I talk about tenths, I really mean that one of these represents a tenth. When I talk about hundredths, I mean one of these represents hundredths. Okay, let's move on. So if I shaded this in, one of these, if I shaded one of these in, and if I shaded one of these in, what does that mean? What does that represent? So it represents 1 whole, or 1 unit. So here I would write 1 unit. A decimal point. Your decimal point just separates whole numbers from parts of whole numbers. So you've got 1 whole, you've got 1/10 here, and you've got 1/100 here. So that's what you would write it like. Okay, let's try another one. What if I wanted to represent 3/10? 3 of these filled in, and 4 of these. How would you write that? So there's no units, so it'd be 0. 0 units, 0 point. There's 1, 2, 3 tenths with 3 tenths. And there's 1, 2, 3, 4 hundredths. 4 hundredths. And you would say that as 0.34. Okay. What if I shaded in 12 of these? What if I shaded in 12 of them? So that's hundredths, so 12 hundredths. So you'd write it as a fraction as 12 over 100. You'd write it as a decimal as 0.1200, so 0.12. I want to make it clear that in this column here, there's 10 hundredths. If I was to take one of the tenths and place it on top here, you can see they are equivalent to each other. They are the exact same. Therefore, 10 hundredths is the exact same, or equivalent to 1/10. So if you thought of this part here, I'm just outlining red as 1/10. Put your 1 under your tenth, and then the remaining 2 is 2 hundredths, and 2 under your hundredths. Okay, let's move on. If I wanted to think about what we just did there, if I shaded in, sorry, pencil again. There, if I shaded in 20 hundredths, so 20 hundredths, how would I write that? 0.20 hundredths. Now you know that 10 hundredths is the same as 1/10. So 20 hundredths is going to be the same as 2 tenths. So I can write 20 hundredths is the exact same, equivalent to 2/10. So as a decimal, I wrote 0.20. If I was to represent 2/10, we would colour in one of these. And we colour in one of these, shape them in. And you can see that they're the same. They're worth the exact same, they're equivalent. If I was to represent 2/10, I would write 0.2. Now you can see that one says 0.20 and one says 0.2, but we've already established they're equivalent to each other, so they are also equivalent. You don't need this trailing 0 at the end. It's not wrong to write it in, but you do not need it. So 0.2 and 0.20 are the exact same. Okay, let's move on. Just to make clear again, they've already established this, but 10 hundredths is the same as 1/10. And when I place this on top of it, you can see it fits nicely on top of it. So again, just to establish that 10 hundredths is the same as 1/10. And that would be written as 0.10 hundredths or 0.1/10, which you know are the same because you do not need that 0 at the end. Okay, let's move on. Okay, so how would I represent 1.45? If I was to shade some of these in, what would it look like? So 1 unit, so one of these should be shaded in. So that's that part, 1 unit. 4/10, so 4 of these would be shaded in. And 500, so 5 of these would be shaded in 500ths. Okay, next one. 2.16. So you can see here that I've already made an extra box here to represent the units. Because if I wanted 2 units, I would have to shade in 2 of these boxes. Okay, so 2 units, and then 1/10, one of these shaded in, and 600ths, 6 of these shaded in. Okay, next. Okay, and how would I represent 0? What would it look like pictorially? 0.99. So 9 of these would be shaded in. And then 9 of these would be shaded in. Okay, so that's 0.99. See if I just look at this little box at the end here. If I was to add on 1 more hundredth, so 1 more hundredth I wanted to add on, how would that look like in decimal form? It would be 0.01. If I added on that extra hundredth there, you can see that this now becomes 10 hundredths, which is the same as 1/10. So if I was to move all of this shaded part here, move the shaded part, no, I can't. If I was to think about moving all of this over, then these 10 hundredths would be the same as 1/10, which would mean this part here was also filled in. Then that becomes 10 tenths. Now 10 tenths is the same as a whole or the same as 1 because you can see that they fit nicely on top of each other. 10 tenths would be the same as 1. So if I was to add these two together, my answer would be 1 whole. Thanks for watching. Bye guys.